Investigative journalists Jeremy Corbell and George Knapp just released new footage obtained from official U.S. military archives. This video shows an MQ-9 Reaper drone tracking an unknown object over the Jordanian-Syrian border. They brought in Merrick von Rennenkampf to analyze the footage. He is a former analyst with the U.S. Department of State Bureau of International Security, a former Obama administration appointee at the DoD, along with working alongside the Soul Foundation, and his reaction to what he was seeing was very interesting. Take a listen to what he mentioned on Weaponized.
The footage, Jeremy, that you sent to me to review is on its face, simply on its face, the most extraordinary footage I've ever seen. And I've spent a lot of time looking at infrared videos and done a lot of geometrical analysis of these videos.
So what exactly are we looking at here? The video was captured in 2021 by an MQ-9 Reaper drone. The MQ-9 is an unmanned aerial vehicle used by the U.S. Air Force for surveillance and strike missions. It was flying in Jordanian airspace while its camera pointed north into a remote area of Syria. This region saw significant activity from extremist groups, so it's not surprising that we had surveillance assets there. The drone's targeting system locked onto an unknown object, and what the footage shows is a mushroom or drone-shaped object with no visible wings, no tail, no rotors, and no exhaust plume. It appeared colder than its surroundings on the thermal sensor, which is significant because aircraft typically show heat signatures from friction and propulsion. Then the object breaks the lock and accelerates away at a very fast speed.
Those 5-6 observables, there's one that it's in your face in this footage. Preliminary analysis does not suggest that it's an artifact of some kind of weird camera movement. And that first observable is instantaneous acceleration. And it very first kind of run preliminary analysis does appear to be what we see in this footage. And secondarily, we see an object lacking wings, flaps, control surfaces, a discernible or obvious means of propulsion. There's no jet exhaust, and it makes a direction change. And that's another observable potentially. That's positive lift, colloquially known as anti-gravity. And there's potentially a third, and that is hypersonic velocity, because the speed with which this thing appears to zip out of frame is quite extraordinary.
Let me explain what observables mean in this context. There are a set of characteristics to categorize UFO behavior, and these are called observables, and they include things like positive lift, which means flight without traditional wings or propulsion, hypersonic velocity, and instantaneous acceleration. What makes this footage different, according to analysis, is that you can actually see this happening. The background continues moving in one direction while the object shoots off in another direction entirely. And this rules out the possibility that what we're seeing is simply camera moving, at least according to Merrick. He also explains that when an operator moves the camera, the entire screen shifts together. That is not what is happening here. The background moves downward from parallax, which is the normal effect of the plane moving, while the object shoots off to the right. And this is very important to understand. This footage was not labeled UAP by journalists. It was formally designated as UAP by analysts within the U.S. intelligence community. The title cards that appear in the footage, breaking down the shape analyzes and highlights the movements, were created during an internal examination by our intelligence agencies. As Jeremy explained, these were not his words on those title cards. This is their investigation into what they themselves labeled instantaneous UAP, and they referring to the intelligence community. A 2022 Daily Mail article quoted an Office of the Director of National Intelligence source describing what appears to be this exact scenario. The source described an MQ-9 Reaper, a rural area of Syria, and an orb that the operator chases before it suddenly bolts off the screen. The platform, location, and observed behavior all match what we're now seeing in this footage. There is still more to cover, including what a congressman just revealed about whistleblower protections, so don't go anywhere. But first, I want to ask you something. What do you think we're actually seeing in this footage? Is this technology from another nation that somehow far exceeds anything we have developed? Or is this something else entirely? Leave your thoughts in the comments below. And Merrick addresses this obvious question. Could this be Chinese technology? If China has this kind of capability, we are in all very serious trouble. An aircraft that can accelerate instantaneously could deliver a payload anywhere in the world before anyone could respond. Beyond that, what statistic reason would China have for flying advanced technology over the Syrian desert? It makes no sense from a military standpoint, according to Merrick. But just because it doesn't make sense doesn't mean that it's impossible. Regardless, the object shows no wings, no control surface, no jet exhaust, and no plumes of any heat. When compared to known drones and aircraft captured by the same types of sensor systems, the difference is very obvious. Conventional aircraft clearly show their structure. Wings are visible, exhaust plumes are visible. This object shows none of that. And there's another detail worth noting. The object appeared colder than its surroundings throughout the encounter, even during its extreme maneuver. Aircraft typically generate heat from friction. The object didn't display that specific characteristic.
That mother was rock solid locked by the Reaper's weapon system when it decided to shoot the.
Yeah, just from my uneducated viewpoint, it's moseying along at whatever speed it is. We get a lock on it. Oh boy, we got a lock on it. And it realizes, oh, you got a lock on me. Here, follow this, dude. See ya.
Merrick raised a point that has broader implications. He stated that he sees no reason why this footage should have been classified. There are examples of MQ-9 footage online released by the military itself. The fact that we were surveying that part of Syria 5 years ago is not sensitive information. The government has changed hands. The security situation in Syria has changed dramatically. And then he referenced a letter from 1948, written by the Chief of Intelligence at the Wright-Patterson Air Force Base to the Air Force Chief of Staff. The letter essentially outlined the same playbook that has been followed for over 80 years. If the press or public asks, tell them it's just balloons. We've resolved most of it, so there's nothing to see here. Meanwhile, profound and high anomalous footage sits in classified servers. And this brings me to breaking news from Capitol Hill. Representative R.Garcia was just asked about the bipartisan UAP whistleblower protection bill and whether it would move forward. Here's what he said on Ask a Poll with Matt Laszlo.
But any update on your whistleblower protection bill? Are we going to see that move at all?
I think we will actually. That's something that's going to have some bipartisan support, and so we're working on that. So actually, stay tuned on that. We've done a lot of work. Covert has been supportive, obviously, and so we're excited that we can get something done on that bill sooner than later.
When asked whether more UAP whistleblowers would come forward if the bill passes, Garcia mentioned this.
Do you think we'll see more UAP whistleblowers if that passes?
I do, and I think right now we have a pretty active whistleblower protection line that Oversight runs, and we've gotten people that reach out to us on Doge and a variety of topics, and so we encourage folks to contact us through the whistleblower protection line.
Garcia revealed that the House Oversight Committee already runs an active whistleblower protection line through its website. People have reached out on multiple topics, but he also acknowledges the current challenges in all of this.
Right now, the administration is trying to actually tear down a lot of the protections, whether you talk about the inspector generals, anything that does any sort of auditing or protection of workers or allows people the freedom to complain. He's destroying all the systems. So I think strengthening whistleblower protections is important.
This is why footage that Corbell and Knapp release matters. Every piece of authentic military data that reaches the public makes us ask more questions, enriching our understanding, and it provides evidence, or at the very least talking points, for what whistleblowers and witnesses have been describing for years. If protection channels exist for people to come forward, and if bipartisan legislation moves to strengthen these protections, we may see more evidence like this reaching the public, or at least reach Congress. What do you think Congress should do next? Or does it even matter what they do when it comes to the topic of UFOs?